Hello and welcome to today's video as we cover the 4 series that took place today in Tier 1 of LOL Esports. Keep in mind, this is a lot about stats. I'm adding a new stat that I've used before, and I don't know why I didn't bring it back to start this season, but I think it's an important one to contextualize what we're seeing in these series. So, we have LCP Playoffs to start us off. SoftBank Hawks, Team Secret Whales, 3-1 for the Whales. I did think 3-1 was the angle here. Team Secret Whales coming off of a bit of a break due to being automatically put into this round in the playoffs. And the Hawks, the Hawks riding a bit of a high here. Now, Team Secret Whales, Eddie did great. Had a solo kill, 32-6-41. Sorry, 41 would be even more insane, but 32 kills, 6 deaths, 14 assists. 32% of the team's damage. BA alongside him, 76% of the team's kills he was involved in. Arya for SoftBank Hawks in mid did have a solo kill, but more deaths than kills. Going 9, 10, and 27. Marble at 80 carry, 25% of damage. Vista, 81 kill Van 1 hit 81 KP. In terms of Drakes, it was 10-6 for Team Secret Whales. They also took 3 of 4 Barons. When the Hawks had a Baron, they had about 2,700 gold lead. When Team Secret Whales, over their 3 Barons, they averaged almost a 7,000 gold power play. Talk about putting the game away with the power play. I mean, that's a very high average with multiple Barons. That's a very successful series in terms of, hey, we know how to play the game out from here, and I think it's very important that teams consider having a shot caller that's capable of taking a game when they take Baron and figuring out how do I maximize this to the best of one's ability. In terms of gold lead percentage, this takes into account not only the gold lead but also Drake value. There are stats that are given to teams due to taking Drake, whether it's attack speed, whether it's healing, whether it's attack damage or ability power, or etc. And that is worth a gold value with stats. Instead of buying an item, I now have this buff. When I factor that in, which I do think, I remember being asked this, and when I was in Munich, what is something that the cast could consider throwing on broadcast that would have value, and I think it's actually taking Drake value and talking about it more in terms of the gold lead and relative to that. Now, Secret Whales, they were ahead 60% of this series, 60-40. It will benefit teams that do play a 45-minute game, maybe in the lead the whole time, but can't fucking end. That is a claim to be made against the stat and a problem with it. But just roughly speaking, 60-40 for Team Secret Whales. That's the closest series of the day. Very, very close. Second series, we have gen.g D+, 3-1. Not a big surprise here. gen.g are the much better team, but D+, having played yesterday, had a little bit, they were warm, where gen.g weren't. Canyon, 19-6-38 out of the jungle. Chovy, 2 solo kills and 32% of damage. I believe somebody put down, I heard something in the background. I believe they had the second most DPM ever in a game or something, 1,700 DPM in his Aurora game. Duro, 82% kill participation. Career for D+. At support, went 2-11-39 with 82 kill participation as well. Smash, 28% of the team's damage. Drakes, 13-8 for gen.g. They also took 6 of 7 Barons. D+, their one Baron, only 600 gold. They won a game, but it wasn't because of a power play. gen.g, 3,400 gold ahead on average off of each Baron. In terms of gold lead, 69-31 in favor of gen.g, so a lot more one-sided than our first series. But yet, the most one-sided was Leviton and Vivo Keystars and CBLOL. We're seeing a lot come out after the series. Seal has been very transparent and open that the team is literally slacking. He's not holding back. And in my opinion, calling out players for being late is completely fair. The guy says he's sleeping in the office. He ain't leaving, and I respect that. I'm somebody that, if I was in that position, I'd probably do the same damn thing. Because in the end, it's about the job and it's about getting the fucking job done. And it takes effort, and effort cannot be something that is not to the it's one of the very few things you can control is work ethic. So for him to see not only Myru, obviously playing fuck around in solo queue and getting in trouble, but also having players be late, like that's absolutely embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing for that player. And the fact that it hasn't changed, I'm sure he has, and the coaching staff has tried to address it, and the player just doesn't. Send him packing, as far as I'm concerned. Him saying that it's going to be 100% of a chance of roster changes. I'm not for roster changes early in the season, but that could be the type of thing that I would consider roster change for. It's an off the rift issue. It's a personality issue, and it's unacceptable. You think of when JoJo had his issues with Cloud9 in the past, and of course they ended up saying it was a health problem, this and that, and now he's with Koi, and I don't hear anything else about that health problem. But the fact is, showing up on time is a very controllable thing. It's a maturity thing, and evidently he has players on his team that aren't mature enough to show up, and you don't know who it is. And I mean, he said it wasn't Myru, or Miru, so it's somebody else, and I highly doubt it's Kaiwing. He's been around the block and played a very long time and is highly respected in the world, so I doubt it's him. And with that, it's a shame, but some people just aren't mature enough to handle it. And how do you fuck up a $1 million job, or in this case, a couple, fuck up a job where you can make a couple $100,000 by being late? And that's just, it's embarrassing. So Leviton, take this. This isn't a surprise. Enga really dominated the mid lane. He had 3 solo kills today against their backup in Coates or Oates that I think it's QATC, so I'm gonna go Coates. He was out of his league. I know there was some nice things. And of course, there's gonna be nice things said about him because, and it's not his fault. He's kind of in over his head a bit, in my opinion. And it's not necessarily even because of his skill, but just the nature of the week that they're benching players in scrims because they're not showing up, and you're swapping out mid, dealing with this shit. It's not a great situation. It's not a great situation. So Enga takes advantage of it. Leviton takes advantage of it, and that's not a surprise to me. 22, 6, and 19, 69 kill participation. So he was the driving force for this team in the mid lane. Sayo had a solo kill, 29% of the team's damage. VKS, Decimus, 10, 12, 21, 79 KP. Mortius, 29 damage share. Leviton took 11 of 20 Drakes. They also took 4 of 5 Barons, getting about 4,000 gold a Baron power play. VKS, 3,300. This was the most lopsided series, 73-27 in favor of Leviton. And then lastly, we have Disguised Sentinels. I thought Disguised would win this 3-2. Sentinels take it 3-2. And this in the scoreline, 3-2 is not indicative of how far apart these teams were. Sentinels were ahead in 2 of their losses. Significantly. They controlled the game for a large portion in terms of gold value. That's why the game is the series is 66-34. Yes, it's the second closest one out of these 4, but it's also the only 5-game series, and it was very much Sentinels that were struggling to play the mid to late game out, and in game 5 they've ended up finding a way. Impact, 13-7, 32 in top lane. Made a difference. Darkwings won that matchup into Call Me quite a bit. 29% of the team's damage. Hui, 87 kill participation. For Disguise, Kryra, 6-12, 39, 80 KP. Castle tried very hard in top lane as well. Had a solo kill. There were only a couple solo kills in this 5-game series. Hambuk had the other one. Castle, 30% of damage in the top lane. It's the only mention of top we have today. Is this matchup. In terms of Drakes, 14-10 for Sentinels. Barons are split 3-3. 3,100 for Disguised, about 4,000 for Sentinels. And like I said, it was a 66-34 split in terms of gold difference. So, an interesting day of games. Competitive games. Nice to see Gen.g on the Rift after a little while. Team Secret Whales as well. LEC plays Monday, Tuesday. I think that schedule is so scuffed. But regardless, it's not the worst format in winter. So yeah, so thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.